All right. We're live here from Boca Raton, Florida. Yes, we are. Here he is. Happy birthday, Daniel. Yeah. July 23rd, that's his day. And, let's see. Without giving away. There he is, 1991. Ooh. Well, that gives us an idea of exactly when he was born. 1991. This is 2025. The beat 34. Yep. The car guy. Yeah, let's see. Where's the car guy? Where's the car guy next to Mr. Happy? There he is. There's Mr. Happy next to the car guy. Yes, and can we tell where that is? There is no location information on that one because it's a print screen. Yeah, it's a print screen. You can get the idea when it was taken because of the, yeah. Notice his hair is all sticking up. Yeah. Taken in Boca Raton, Florida. We moved here in 1990. And bingo, 1991, out pops Daniel. And boy, did he pop. 6'4". Yep. Well, we have getting on to some little news things here. Just since I am epidemic, will you turn down the sound just a little tiny bit? Yeah. Feel like I'm competing with when you're streaming, so you have to keep a lot of noise going through that streaming, or else you might lose somebody. This is a simulcast. We're broadcasting simultaneously from downtown Boca Raton on all three social networks at the same time. Can you believe it? Jimmy has this working. I got wires going all over here. I got them buried in black napkins so that Marilyn doesn't get grossed out. We have a 6-foot by 4-foot table. I drew a blue line down the whole middle of the table so that I get this 24 inches. She gets that 24 inches. That's the deal. So I decided to make my 24 inches into this little tiny studioette. How about that is that a real word? Yeah. Yeah, it's a studio sort of. I've got old iPads here. I got an old iPad here. I have a not so old iPad here. This used to be an old iPad, and the battery, went kafooey. It wouldn't charge. Wouldn't take a charge, no matter what I did. So I had this insurance with Asurion, if I'm saying that right. And I called them up, or I did, the digital thing on my iPhone because the iPad was dead. And I said it was a DOA. and they insure it. And they sent me another one. They said, well, we're going to FedEx one to you right now. And they did. And they said, just be sure to send back the dead one. So in the box that they sent the new one in, I sent back the dead one. And I think it was like a 200 and something. It was a little over 200 hours. It was over 200 hours, like a copay. So I paid let's say $50. Since I don't remember exactly, it was a year and a half ago. So they sent me a brand new one. And it is thin. Look how thin that is. You can see in the reflection. It is super thin. It is like 5.5 millimeters thin. It's on the Magic Keyboard, which makes this thing like a super portable laptop. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. Did I lose somebody? Let's start that up again if I can. Hello. I think I went a little too expedient. There we go. I jiggled that cord too much, and it went kafooey on me. Anyway, so getting back into the Apple business here. Look at this. Apple just announced today at I'm going to say, let's see, at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 exactly. And they're like exactly, 8:00 a.m. Eastern Time. Apple is making it easier to cover all your devices. So they have a free plan, a trifecta plan, if you will. They didn't use the word trifecta because they're politically correct. And trifecta would mean something like gambling, and it has nothing to do with gambling. And it allows you to cover 3 Apple products, like I'm a pad, I'm a phone, your I'm a watch. You can cover 3. So if you have a couple of iPads on an iPhone, it's 3 for $19.99 a month. And so you paid $19.99. Why don't they just say $20? I mean, come on. Anyway, for $19.99, you can insure 3 products. Feature number 1, which is a savings, because that iPhone, if you have 2 iPhones, for example, which I do, Marilyn's got one and I got one, I think it's like $13.75 or something or other to insure one of those puppies. Let's take a look. How do we do that? Let's go here, and then we'll touch that, and then we'll touch subscriptions. This is live TV, folks, so give me a break. Look at all these Apple products. There we go. $13.49 a month. Okay. There's the product number. There's the serial number. And so 2 times 13 is 26. So that's $27 for 2 iPhones. So if you have 2 iPhones and an iPad, here's an iPad. Ouch. Here's an iPad Pro 13-inch. Gosh darn it. This touchpad, and I just touched my the back of my hand on that sucker just as I was about to expose. So we have theft and loss, $13.49, and we have the iPad. Where is it? There we go. iPad. Where's the 13-incher? Yeah, see, this 13-incher is $8.49. All right, so get our trusty calculator out here. Clear it. 1349 times 2 equals plus 849 equals. So look at that. I'm currently paying $35.47 for 3 items. I can put that in the trifecta plan and get that for $19.99, and I'll save $15, $15.50 actually. And not only that, but you can that'll continue. It includes theft and loss, which I'm already doing, and it'll continue on for a period of up to 4 years. If you replace the item, it automatically substitutes the serial number, and stays in the plan. So that's a good thing. So you get 4 years. You pay by the month, $19.99, and you end up saving. So if you have 2 iPhones and an iPad, you can save up to $15, because that would have cost $35, and they're giving it to for $19.99. So you just go through your list of items and package them accordingly, and as long as the 3 items cost more than $20, and I got lots of items here. So I could probably do this. I could package, let's see, there's 1, 2, what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looking for the 9th one. I guess one of these up here. Yep, so I got 9 items. Yep. So that's $20, $40, $60 instead of some bigger number. And it includes loss if you lose it. I haven't lost anything yet, but, things can happen, Things can happen. So you don't want to lose things. And you can save lots of money. So you bundle them up appropriately so that you get the theft and loss, because some of these other plans, on these iPads, for example, they don't include theft and loss. $13.49. Well, that does, because that's an iPhone. Yeah. So that's why that's up. That'd probably be $9.99 if it wasn't for the theft and loss. So they get you for another $3.50 in case you lose it. But hey, I'd rather pay the $3.50 a month, because if it gets lost or stolen, they replace it. Yep. And a lot of these other iPads, this iPad, let's get that. Where's that? 8. So here's an iPad. There it is. This iPad Pro. Let's touch on that one. AppleCare Plus iPad Pro. Let's hit support. See what that does. Ooh, and we'll touch that device. I guess they're looking for me to touch the product. There we go. Physical time. Bop. That gives me details about the. That doesn't. Go back to subscriptions. There we go. Where's that 13? Yeah, see, AppleCare Plus with theft and loss. So. So you package these up so that, when you add the individual together, if they're less than 20, then shuffle them around a little bit so that you can see a little dollar savings. And number 2, remember, you can go out to 4 years with this instead of just the usual 2-year limit. And then they just drop you like a hot rock and you get nothing. And, you could have a battery issue. Battery issue. That's a B word. I know, it makes your speakers pop when I go B. B's or P's? Peter Piper picked up. I have a pop filter here, but it still pops. Anyway, so that's a new thing with Apple. It's effective tomorrow morning, by the way. At 8, they announced it at 8 a.m. today, and it goes into effect tomorrow morning. I believe it's on the 24th. 3 products for $19.99. It's called the Care One. Apple new Care One plan makes it easier and cheaper to cover multiple devices. I guess the easier is it's just one pay. And see, there you go. Will be available starting. Oops. We'll do an edit on that. We're going to get the pen, and we'll use yellow, or let's use green. And we'll just do a little expando here, so I can slip this line right between the 2 lines. Hold it for a second. Perfectly straight. And we'll draw that apple. Whoops. Straighten that out too. There you go. All right. We're done. So it won't be. So it's easier to find when it starts. July 24th. Yep. Theft and loss protection is being extended beyond just the iPhone to cover iPads and Apple Watches. heretofore not covered with theft and loss. So instead of just having theft and loss added separately, so they'll probably, tomorrow, they'll probably have it individually, theft and loss also, just to make it a bigger incentive to package them. And people like Jimmy will be packaging like crazy. Yeah. AppleCare One, multiple devices. Apparently, there's a new movie coming out. The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. They're starring in the new movie, The Naked Gun, which is coming out, or has come out. And they are just smitten with each other. Apparently, they are now a couple. She is funny and so easy to work with. Yeah. Get your hand off my, what do you call it? I'm just popping out with some news here. Facebook just said adios. Oh well, what are you going to do? Can't keep them all. Facebook and Twitter, come and go on this broadcast. 22 minutes into the show and Facebook took a crapper. My suggestion is go to YouTube, because YouTube stays consistent. With Xfinity, if you have your X1 platform, which came out like 5 years ago or more, and you've activated that little blue button with a microphone on it, and you can just push that button and say YouTube, and it'll come right up on your screen in your TV. YouTube will, and then you have choices. Now, I don't know how you would do the search for FAU for you. Maybe you could do that when you're in YouTube, and then all of a sudden all the Jimmy shows would show up. Yeah, if you want to listen to Jimmy. I've been doing this for over 450 broadcasts. Can you imagine? It's generally at 9 o'clock, 9:03 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and 7 a.m. on Saturday, and maybe on Sunday. Depends on what's going on and the, hurricane conditions and so forth, internet conditions. Sometimes I don't do it because I'm either, not, my voice is loused up, or I can't figure out what to talk about, which is, that's unusual, because, you slip a quarter in my pocket and I'll talk until noon. That's what Marilyn says. Yes, sir. A Nickelodeon, but I go for quarters. Silver dollars, nickels, dimes, and quarters. Yeah. Quarters, silver dollars. Yeah. Paper currency, make a 10. A 10 is good. Slip a 10 in my pocket. Yeah. Well, Columbia University, had a bunch of people camped out around the campus of Columbia University in downtown Manhattan, the magic city of Manhattan. Yep. And Columbia has suspended, they've thrown out 80 students over the Gaza protests. Some students had their degrees revoked for participating in anti-war protests, including the 2024 Gaza encampments. Yeah, the new president has just has a zero tolerance for that, and bam! Can you imagine? You spent 4 years of your life getting a degree from Columbia University in New York, and then it gets revoked because you're sitting in an encampment, as a protester, siding with Hamas in the United States. Not a good idea. And these universities are going to crack down. You know why? Because Trump says you get rid of these people, or you're going to lose the federal funding, which is billions of dollars, I think. Yeah. 500 million, 750 million, a billion. It's a lot of money. So if these, universities keep, with this anti-Semitic or, Gaza support, all this kind of stuff, you're out of here. Speaking of out of here, how about out of your mind? Look at this a little boat. It's the Bill Gates yacht. They were hoping Bill Gates would take it. Apparently, there's no contract between the builder of this boat and Bill Gates. They figured he would be high on the list of maybes. It has 14 balconies, 2 offices, a basketball court, multiple libraries, and it's 390 feet. It's 100 meters. Yeah. It's the world's first hydrogen-powered super yacht. And you say, well, what the hell do they do with hydrogen? To maintain liquid hydrogen, it has to be under pressure, a serious pressure cylinder, and it has to be kept at, trying to see, it's minus, maybe it's on this side, no. It seems to me I read it's like minus 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So you have to have it's a double lined, it's a big room that houses with a big high pressure tank in there. And the room has to be chilled to minus 450 degrees Fahrenheit, or else it'll boil off and that cylinder will pop. I hope they have a backup plan for that. It'll cost you $645 million. I don't know how they came up with that price. Why didn't they just round it to 650? Someone goes in there, they're going to say, okay, how about $599.99? Yeah, what would they do? 390-foot motor yacht. It works off of hydrogen, and they have fuel cells. Okay, so the fuel cells charge batteries, and it's got a battery pack that holds 543 kilowatts. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me give you an idea. 543. Let's get our calculator out. So we'll put 543 and divide that by 70 equals. So just to give you an order of magnitude of what 543 kilowatts means, see that's 7.75? That means it's like having 8 Model Y. Model Y is what do you call it? A Tesla car, right? And they have batteries. So you take 8 Model Y Tesla cars, take the batteries out, stack them up, eight slices, like slices of bread, stack them on top of each other, hook them up, and the series are parallel depending on how much, it runs at 350 volts. So if the engines, the motors, if they're wired, they can be wired, for like 700 volts or 350. So 350 volts, you'd probably have a cable the size of your arm, to produce that kind of power. And that battery will operate the entire ship for I think it says 7 days. That's everything. That's the kitchens, all the lighting and the air conditioning and all that kind of stuff, and drive the cruise ship at 10 knots. Yeah. So you have a near silent zero emission. The fuel cells, so what happens is the batteries through a control network, high power control circuitry, will measure the amount of power that goes into, splitting the power between operating the boat and operating the throttle, causing the 10 knots. They go up to 17 knots, but the cruising speed is 10 knots. And it'd be near silent because the fuel cell takes hydrogen and it creates electricity with the fuel cell, and the byproduct of that is water. So you have the hydrogen combines with oxygen to produce water and electricity. So the hydrogen is the fuel, and the oxidizer is atmospheric oxygen, and that's how that works. So you connect the batteries up to the motor, and you have how much power you give the motors from the battery packs, and then the fuel cell business charges the batteries. You can run it simultaneous, so you can be discharging the batteries while the fuel cell is charging the batteries. But this way you have the full, you have the power to operate your extra features, of the boat, like running all the air conditioning, all that kind of stuff. So there you go. They call it the Bill Gates yacht, although he is apparently not taking delivery. It sleeps 30 guests in 15 bedrooms. But the first Renaissance, it has a 4-level townhouse by the sea, reserved by the owner. So he's got a 4-story townhouse built inside the ship. With, I'm sure, balconies and all kinds of super yacht things. Look at the back end of this boat. Is this... Look, you got a little dining table out there. There must be some... Closes this off. But he's got it... They've got it open. So you have a complete breezeway. A couple sets of tables. One kind of on the inside, one kind of on the outside. Looks like there's a big screen in the other room there. That goes through that way. There's the breezeway. Yeah, that's some kind of boat. Yeah, there it is. I had to show you that one. $390-foot motor yacht, electric, by the way. Runs off of liquid hydrogen. $649 million, you can have it. It's motoring to the show. There's a show. I thought that was worth talking about. So this is like the Miss Universe contest. And guess who wins? Miss Israel. So she has been crowned Miss Universe, I believe. Israeli. Pretty face, eh? Looks like snake earrings with a heart. The magic of the iPad. And Ecamm Live hosts this site. ECAMM live.com or ecamm.com. And then you can see all the different, here, let's just type it out here. ECAMM.com. I have no financial interest in Ecamm other than showing this to you. Streaming platform for Macs. That's true. Meet Ecamm Live, the leading live streaming and video production studio built for Mac. I was wondering what they actually called it. You can download, you can download it. No credit card necessary. They have a nice tutorial, link ups that you can do. YouTube, Zoom, Live, Twitch, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, Restream, OneStream. The all-in-one video tool. This is their website. I don't have any financial interest in it. I'm just showing it to you in case you want to go live with your own stuff. Yeah, you get all kinds of, you just have to relax. And if these people can do it, then you can do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean write the software. The software is immaculate. I mean, connecting it up and getting the equipment. And it's, one piece at a time. Don't look at the whole thing and say, I can't do it. Just say, hey, I have an iPad. I've got the one thing I've done that's a little maybe unusual. I haven't actually seen any snippets. I should actually send Ecamm some pictures of what I have here, because I don't see anybody plugging in their iPads into the video stream, which I'm doing. See this little nifty white wire? That goes around over here and underneath, goes into the MacBook. There it is. You see A7. It's actually not an A7. It's an A18 or something. But see, we're broadcasting the contents of my iPad as if it's a video camera. See here, oops. See, this guy's a video camera, showing you all this stuff. And you see the iPad. But I'm taking the signal from the iPad and throwing it into a similar port. So Ecamm is picking it up. I come over here to the camera. I click the camera thing, and all my iPads show up on here, and the web, the Nexigo HD webcam. Yeah, that's what you see over here on the right side, and then it shows. It shows my phone and the phone camera, which you can connect that, which I don't want to do. And it shows the 13-inch which you're looking at. And I can add the 12-inch. Click that. There it is. Oh, I was playing, yeah, so that's, all right, so we're going to add back Jimmy. So there's Jimmy. And here's the other iPad sitting right there. And then we can add the 13-inch guy, which is right here. So now I'm sandwiched between two iPads. One showing the Ecamm, the other one showing, the flipboard, they call it. Flipboard, flipboard. And flipboard, there we go. So that'll show a slide presentation, which you can see over on the very left of your screen. And then on the right side of the screen, we have information about Ecamm Live. And they have a lot of videos. You can watch those videos. These are all the companies that they use. That uses Ecamm Live. I've not done a Zoom call with Ecamm Live. I can pair my phone with my Roadcaster so that if someone calls, my Roadcaster can pick it up so we can broadcast, that. Or they can just send me a text message, which I can show it or not. Anyway, record, stream, present. If you download it, I'm going to press the download button here. You see my finger is getting ready to bounce. I'm just going to... And it says, download didn't start. Click here. And here's the guy. Watch this guy. I'm going to turn off this reader view thing. You see, then join our Facebook group, community, watching. The download will begin shortly. It's downloading now. I don't know where it's going. So you can download Ecamm Live. They have glasses, whatever that does. Card reader. Printopia. I guess you can take your images and send them online somewhere and it'll print the pictures for you. You can send them to my site and do that too. It'll be cheaper, but cheaper to keep her. So those are the different Ecamm Live products. I just hit Ecamm Live up at the top here to go back to Ecamm Live. There you go. I thought you'd be interested in that. It checks the software of your product and pricing. You don't have to buy it. So they give you a trial. Here's one pricing model. Unlimited live multi-streaming. Access to the community and certain channels. So you use it free for 14 days. And then you decide, do you want the $16 a month? Or do you want to go for the $32 a month? Which has everything of the prior to have, and it adds, you can have up to 4K streaming. Which is what I do. I throw up 4K. You may be watching it in 2K, but I give it to you in 4K. It's easy, for the for anybody out here. Real-time bandwidth stats. Yeah. Audio monitor on the output. I watch that. I got a little display right here. Make sure I'm not over-modulating because I can over-modulate if I get too close to this little puppy and get too many P words. then it gets a little upset with me. And it goes red, Fred, which means I'm overmodulating. And you don't need to overmodulate. Just sit back and turn the volume up and watch how you modulate. It's a magnificent platform. I really and the Rodecaster Pro, the Roman numeral 2 device over here on my left side, which controls my microphone volume and the volume of these two channels. It holds up to 4 different microphones or channels. I've got in my MacBook Pro, I'm using Chrome just as an example. I have Chrome loaded in here. Chrome for MacBook. And I'm playing Epidemic Sound Instrumental for your music enjoyment. Isn't that nice? Nice upbeat kind of music thingy. It keeps the streaming. Yeah, you always want water flowing through the hose. So it's good to have a little background music. Hopefully this background music isn't too loud. We can let's turn it down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I may have the where is it up here? Oh, that's it. It was up a little bit too much there. There we go. Now we can't hear it. Let's check where it is here. That's where it should be. There we go. We're all right. Okay. There we go. That's it. That's what we wanted. So I've got, yeah. So I got 2 iPads and a video camera, all working at the same time. It's designed for cameras, but I got them with, so, I can get rid of one of these. Let's get rid of this one. Yoop. So now we got this iPad here, which is displaying basically Flipboard, and let's see, enter full screen mode. There we go. So now you can see Flipboard over here, and you can see it on your display there. I'm trying to work this. Oops, there we go, Flipboard, there we go. So now it's full screen, it'll start paging through as it loads. Yeah. Okay. Add window. And we're going to add this. There we go. So now this is not in. That's better. So now you can pretty much read. Can we move this around? Yeah, if I move it right there, then you can see everything it says. tvOS 26. I haven't seen that yet. That's only available for developers. In the next couple of weeks, they're going to release that to, there's several billion with a B. There's several billion iPhones and iPads out there running the operating system designed by Apple, the Apple engineers in, California. And they have developers, that write applications. They're third-party developers. They're not Apple developers. They write applications for Apple products that comply with rigid safety, security, and quality content. Okay? And so since there's like 2.5 billion Apple iPhones, iPads, Apple Watches. It's a wearable. I have an Apple Watch right here, which is now fully charged. I'll put it on. Keep it on all the time. I charge it. It takes about a half hour to charge. I have you can get yourself a super fast charger, which has a beige. It has a not a shiny surface to it, and it charges like 17 watts or something. The standard charger is like half that power. So if you have the regular charger, one that comes with the watch, if something comes with, I think the charger comes with the watch. It's a magnetic thing, fits on the back of the watch. You plug it into a traditional Apple charger using the USB-C cord socket. Because the charger wire has a C port. Plug that right into one of those little white chargers. Yep. Charge your Apple Watch. But Apple also has a fast charger. It's easy to find. Just use the search words fast Apple Watch charger. Comes in I think a 3-foot and a 6-foot cable. A 1 meter or a 2 meter cable. Since they're, up to speed on all that stuff, they go right to meters. Yep. Let's see if I got anything coming in. No, I don't have anything coming. I just got my lipoflavonoid. So if I have a broken product, I have the insurance now through Amazon. Let's see if I can show you that. I can show you that. We're gonna. That's this one right here. There we go. Jimmy's in the middle, and that iPad is over there now. So we're going to Amazon, and we click on down here to this one right here. So you can buy the policy. Now this insurance is the one like I had with the iPad, where I sent in the dead iPad and they replaced it. That was with an AT&T plan. which was tied to your digital phone number. This is not tied to any particular phone number or AT&T or Verizon account. This one is through Amazon. And let me just click on it. There you can see the picture. Complete protection. So it protects the product that you're buying. Okay, let's look at this. We've got your back. Drops, spills, cracks, breakdowns, malfunctions, and more. I don't think you can lose it. With the Apple coverage, you can lose it. But this covers other things. For example, my Rodecaster Pro every once in a while doesn't start. So I may be, drops, spills, cracks, screens, failure due to normal wear and tear. No, you can't hit it with a hammer. Power surges, electrical malfunctions. What's not covered? Loss, theft, or intentional damage. So I say, oh, there he is. You cannot hit it with a hammer. I thought I was being a wise guy. Yeah, there we go. Let's do a print screen on that one, because I use that expression all the time. Now it can fail. It can get hit with a surge. Not your roommate called surge, an electrical surge, like from lightning or something like that. There you go. That is not covered. Yeah, no, it is not covered. So scratches and working products, excluding jewelry and watches. I'm not too sure. So excluding and it's not, so it's a double negative, which would lead me to believe it's covered. So we'll find that out in a minute. And periodic replacement parts, printer ink, like printer, like usables, printer ink, light bulbs, cartridges that go in your laser printer. That's not covered. Okay, what your purchases are protected. So if you buy a printer today, it's covered, and it's covered for a full year. Okay, some of these devices have warranty like 90 days or something. 90 days labor, 1 year parts, something like that. This covers every damn thing. Going back a full year. Yeah. So it covers any electrical device that you buy from day one. You just go on to Assyrian.com/Amazon. Yep. They have support if you need support. I'm going to do a print screen on this because then I'll show you how to get to Assyrian. Because there's magic with the operating system with Apple. I'm going to show you. So it doesn't work on here. I'm just touching this. Doesn't go there. Doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so now we're going to go to my photo album. And we're going to find, there we go, there's our Assyrian. Oh, here's your hammer. Not covered. Can you believe it? I swear I didn't see this first. No, this was a surprise. We'll turn the blacks up a little bit too. There we go. There we go. Let's brighten that up just a little bit. I think that's as good as we can do. Yep, so there's Jimmy. On the right side, there's Dr. Henry C. Lee. Dr. Henry Lee. Nice man. And that's my daughter in between. Yeah, she was conducting a seminar thingy for the United States government. She had all kinds of dignitaries surrounding a table, a U-shaped table, and Dr. Henry Lee was one of the participants. Robin told me about it, and she said, Dad, why don't you come on over to Phoenix, Arizona? Just fly on in, you can stay with me, and you can listen in on what I'm doing and listen firsthand on how I officiate these kinds of meetings. And she had, she had a U-shaped table with, I'd say, 18, 3 times 6, 6 here, 6 there, and 6 on the other side, U-shaped table, and she's sitting in the middle at a desk with an overhead projector and a microphone kind of thing, probably stuck on her blouse. And she's talking to these people, and in a round table, although it was a U-shaped, big U-shaped thing, in a conference room that's probably 20 by 20, the size of a 2-car garage, that size of a conference room, with real comfortable chairs and all that kind of stuff. And she's conducting this seminar that was sponsored basically by the U.S. government. In other words, they paid for the room, they paid to get her there, and I think maybe breakfast. I think lunches and dinners, you're on your own. And she would have an evening cocktail session. I forget how that was dealt with. But anyway, so I showed up. And that Henry Lee happened to be there, so she introduced me to Henry Lee. He's the famous blood spatter expert in the O.J. Simpson trial. And I wrote a book called Principles of Digital Photography and Post-Image Processing as a adjunct faculty member at the esteemed Florida Atlantic University. So I'm on faculty. I am currently on the faculty in the Charles E. Schmidt College of Science. I've been there since 2003. I wrote my book and had it published by Pearson Education 2003. Yep. So I designed a book cover and a book back, and I brought big glossy prints of it called Principles of Forensic Digital Photography. It's a unique title. No one has named a book Principles of Forensic Digital Photography. And I was relatively new to digital because this picture is like 18 years old, right? So 18 years ago, digital was pretty new stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so that's... And I asked Dr. Lee, I said, are you interested in co-authoring a book like this with Jimmy? He said, absolutely. Come on up to my suite and let's talk about it. So he had me into his private suite and he made some fresh tea. Makes sense for an astute Chinaman, Chinese ethnic background, and very famous global forensic technologist. And I'm a digital photography guy, so what a combination. So he said, yeah, let's do this. I got halfway through the table of contents, and that's about it. He sent me some forensic film photography, which I could, scan and make it digital, so we could use the pictures, of some crime scenes that he has pictures of. He said, "Hey, I'll give you some of these. I'll send you some." So he sent me about several hundred images of crime scene. He had some extra spare strips. Yep. Anyway, so I took the picture here. Now, the nice thing about Apple, the Apple operating system, is see this is now a picture that I have in my picture folder instead of on the Amazon website. So I can touch, look at it, I can touch a Shurian, and there it is. It logs it right into it. We're going to accept the cookies. And there we go. We can register your product. So when you buy something, you register it. Yeah. Now, if you buy it at Amazon, it's automatically registered. But if you bought it a while ago, you may need to register it. I think if so anything that you have electronic that's in your possession, you can have protection as long as you can show that you bought it within the last year of today. It'll go back 364 days from today. And as today marches on, so does, so you got this rolling average of 365 days of when you bought something. When it becomes 366 days old, then it's not covered anymore because it'll be over a year old. So that's how you manage your protection. There's a button here that says manage your protection. There you go. So you manage your protection. You can touch on that, and then it shows you how to do that. Log in with Amazon, or give us your Amazon email address. Hit continue. Yeah. Anyway, so any products that you buy on Amazon, it's covered for a year. So I guess in theory, if my son's electric scooter goes kafooey, which we bought on Amazon, let's see, does it have a limit on what isn't covered? Electric scooter is an electronic device. I guess I could ask the question. Is there a place to ask questions? What's this little button do? Let go of everything and touch that button. Let's log in with Amazon. Let's see what happens when you touch that. Oh, remember, it's a picture. We need to go to, there we go. We need to get on, whoops, that's a picture. Amazon. Yeah, now we're on Amazon, yeah. Subscribe, I'm already subscribed. Yeah, you keep paying, you're subscribed. So one thing you have to know is that when you buy the insurance, you gotta wait a month before you can file the claim. There's a 30-day or a 31-day, hold period. I guess that's to make sure your payment is cleared and all that kind of stuff. Let's hit the the buttons where they rate the service, and let's see if we can. Here's the common key things that people say. Oh yeah, I'm wondering why I can't read it. I got my face too close. I got those reading glasses on. I can't get. This is like you got to be about 14 inches away. It's so I can read computer screens, without having to lean forward and stick my nose. So this way I can sit back a little bit and see everything crystal clear. Okay, as long as you have to keep blinking. So these. All right. All right. So, here's somebody that doesn't like it. Let's see why they don't like it. Okay, let's make it so you can see it over there. This Miguel, he doesn't like it. He goes, on March 9th, 2004, I purchased an M-Combo lift chair costing $785 on the same day. Although the same Amazon again, since I purchased an Assuring Complete Protection policy for $17 a month, less a penny. And oh my God, look at all this verbiage. This and that and that and that. I contacted upon was informed that the chair was being purchased. So he bought the chair in the name of a business. I don't know why the hell you would do that. But if you just bought it on his personal account, unless he has a business Amazon account, and then bought the policy there. Yeah, so. All right, so he doesn't like it. But that's a cockamamie, kind of a easy claim, this and that. Oh, here's someone else doesn't like it. Let's see what got these people write like crazy. On 3-1, if the initial claim was filed, on 3-1, they requested a different service center. Call again. And then it was mentioned there's a limit on repair attempts and there's another big paragraph. I was informed so they have an inspection center. You send it in, and they decide if it's really dead or if they can fix it, and then they send it on to a place that may be able to fix it. If they can't fix it, Then they send you I believe, an Amazon card in the amount of your purchase. So then you can use that card to purchase whatever the hell you want. So they basically buy you out of the item, with an Amazon card. No hidden fees. You're protected for up to $5,000 in total claims within a year period of time. So that's a lot of claims. And with any insurance, you're going to go, I was on the board of an insurance company. And the one thing I can tell you is that they make money collecting premiums. They don't make money paying claims. That's the loss side of their ledger. So they're more interested in collecting premiums than paying claims. So they collect premiums fast and they pay claims slow. And they make money on the slow side because of, a penny saved is a penny earned. So if they can so if they have a valid claim, with you, you're going to get it in 3 or 4 weeks instead of 1 or 2 weeks. I'm making that up. I don't know how fast they pay, but when it was associated with AT&T, it was fast. In other words, they just send you another iPad right away, and then you send them the other one back, and then they do with it what they do with it. They fix it and they send it over. They put it in an auction block and they auction it off, or put it co-list it with Amazon in the used department. That's probably what they do. Amazon traps it in the used department, and they fix the battery, whatever was wrong with it, to make it so it would be a working model, and they put it in the regular used merchandise. Yep. Factory, so they fix it, and that's certified, with a 1-year warranty or something or other, and the certification is from Amazon. And they hire the right kind of people to get the work done, fix the battery. They send it probably into Apple, get Apple to replace the battery. If you have a 4-year-old iPad, the batteries start to fail in 4 years. That's just the nature of the lithium-ion chemistry. At least the polymer boards that are put in the iPad Pros. I don't think I have any regular iPads left. I think they've been turned in, returned. I don't think I have any. Might have one iPad mini. I probably got one of those somewhere. I think it's in my travel kit. I have a kit so I can do these broadcasts on the road. So I brought all this stuff up. I have it in two suitcases. They weigh about 100 pounds, or 78 pounds, 75 pounds, And we went up to Titusville to watch a launch. So I was going to do a live broadcast, from the launch. And the launch got canceled. So there was 2 actual launches, one on Saturday night and one on Sunday night. So I figured, why don't we drive up there and watch them, because we've never seen anything, launch right across pad, 39A from the Kennedy Space Center. So right in Titusville, you're directly across from the launch site, across the Indian River, which, so you're about 10 miles away, round numbers. But my good customer and friend Lyle tells me it'll shake your fillings right out of your head. The percussion of those engines is so powerful. The sound wave is so strong. It's about as close. You wouldn't want to be any closer, because it blew up, depending on what they designed a thing to be able to handle this size of wave. Yep. So we're going to give a Shurian a try, see how it works. I know I did it with AT&T, and it was, it was pretty transparent. You get a broken iPad, they sent you a new one. You send the old one in, they fix it, and then they auction it. Now I think they're trying to fix it and send it back to you. It's covered. Drop spills. Let's see. You can't lose it. So these are all the products: tablets, portable electronics, and more. The question is, does that, guarantee scooters? Because we bought Brennan a new scooter. Be interested to see if it's covered. I'll ask that question and get back to you. So now you can see the home. That's my home page. Yep. On my pad. Let's take a look at the Tesla and see what's going on there. I think Marilyn's down at a meeting. Let's see where she is. You can see the Tesla app. You can see the car. It showed up in red on here, but it's actually a black car. There's a way of changing the color of the car. But, black on a black background, you can't see the car. So I chose it to be red just so I could see it. All right, it's 87 degrees. There it is. I push location, and there it is. We can back up and see where the hell we are. Downtown. We're downtown Fort Lauderdale. Yep. Okay. Oops. Let's see. We don't want to do anything. I just want to see where the car is. Yeah. The car has its own GPS system in the car, the cell system. So you can see here it is 16 miles away from Plaza Real South. There's a button on the bottom. In the very bottom, you see that right there? I can navigate. See, I can press that little button there, and there's a feature that says, there's the place where I live. Yeah, that's it. And you can send, watch this, send to car. So in other words, I can send that to the car, and then when Marilyn gets in the car, that'll be a navigate button to get back here. I will send it to the car. Send to car. Did it go? Sent to car up on the top. Yep. So, so it's a 29-minute drive. It's 20.5 miles. So here's the routing. The car will basically take her up I-95, over and across, and all the way to Palmetto Park Road. You get off Palmetto Park Road, and there we are. Yepper. Yes, we'll see the app running. What did I say now? Yeah, I turned, let's see. Yeah, see, I canceled the subscription for the full self-driving because I was going to give it a rest for a month. I turned it on because we had our trip to Titusville, and now I turned it off because I want that to be updated, with the improved software with the full self-driving. The last software update had nothing to do with full self-driving. It had to do with, other kinds of, updates to the regular autopilot. Yeah. So let's get rid of that. Let's see how the radar is doing. Yeah, it looks a lot of clouds, there we go. This is a whole Caribbean basin here. The magic of modern radar. All right, shrink that down. It's funny, you can see Flipboard over there. Tesla goes to Mars. So here's Scotty Scheffler, I'm told, was on what do you call it? Saturday Night Live with his trophy. He had some kind of little bit part in the goings on with Saturday Night Live, celebrating his win of the Open Championship. You had the U.S. Open, you got the British, you got the Canadian Open, but the Open that's the name of the one over there, and over yonder. Could be in Ireland, could be Scotland, could be the British Open. The Open. It moves the course. I think they have 4 courses, and they cycle around these 4 courses, in that whole, British countries, possessions, whatever they call those countries over there. Not the European Union. This is, a tighter group than that. All right, what's going on with Ozempic? I remember those, I'm familiar with the Ozempic, pen. This is the 1 milligram. This one side effect makes people quit. All right, what's that? The downside of Ozempic. Let's see what it is. So Ozempic, that controls my blood sugar. It also, you lose a little weight. So it manages your blood sugar, but you lose some weight. And it comes at a steep price. Tough side effects. All right, what are they? Let's see what they are. Why patients stop taking. It's not a weight. Well, Ozempic is not a weight loss drug. That's when it's improperly prescribed. In other words, if a doctor. Now, semaglutide is the chemical in Ozempic. 1 or 2 milligrams, doses. Self-injected pen. You dial it up and you stick it in your belly and push the button. It injects the proper amount, and then you remove the pen and rub the injection site a little bit with your finger, which then, brings the skin together so it doesn't leak back out. And then you unscrew the needle and put the cap back on it and wrap it up in some paper and, throw it away. Dispose of it properly. Patients often want to jump straight through to the higher dosages. And the side effect is you end up with some gastro issues. Well, titrate slowly. It comes out in like 0.5 milligram pen, and then 1 milligram, then 2 milligram. So as you step up, you do this over a period of months. So you do 2 months at 0.5 milligram. Then you put it on. They've come out with another drug called Wegovy. So they went through the FDA. They rebranded semaglutide as Wegovy. God knows where they got that name. And now they put it through as a weight loss drug, same drug. So if you're, a fatty, if you're fat, 250 pounds, 300 pounds, 350 pounds, they can prescribe Wegovy for you. And then, you go through the FDA. You don't go through the FDA. The company takes the drug through the FDA for its, inspection and approval. And once the FDA approves it, then they can start selling it in the United States, semaglutide, as a Wegovy product. And that can be properly prescribed as a weight loss drug. Yeah. And some insurances will pay, and some insurances will not pay. So that's how that works. So you got two different pens containing the same exact chemical. One is prescribable as a weight loss drug, and the other one is prescribable as a diabetic, blood sugar thingy, which is what I'm using it for. The semaglutide gets in my system, and I don't need insulin. It controls my blood sugar. And if you do the blood sugar purpose, which I have a legitimate blood sugar issue, but the pen costs, the Ozempic pen, which gives you 4 doses in a pen. So that cylinder right there. You see the plunger, that's the spiral, and then the black thing is the plunger. That baby is empty. It's 12:45. Yep, we've been on the air for an hour and 43 minutes. It's time for lunch. There you go. There's Ozempic. Took my shot last night. Yep. Weight loss injection. It's not a weight loss. Ozempic is not a weight loss injection. It is a blood sugar diabetic injection. See, Wegovy, that is a weight loss drug. And Monjaro, that one, those are branded for weight loss and submitted through the FDA for weight loss. Obesity, help millions of people that are obese. It works very well. You just titrate up slowly. Start off at a quarter milligram, half milligram. Then you do a week or 2 weeks at 2 milligrams. And then you stop. There you go. So the people that are using it for weight loss, and the side effects, can be and make you go potty, and make you go number 2 too fast, and you get. If you just get into it nice and slow, they have like 4 steps that you titrate up. You can't just go to the high dose, put in there so you can lose weight faster. No. I know someone real well who lost 65 pounds. It took a year of taking Ozempic, or the weight loss version of it, Wegovy, for a year. And Okay, Apple Watch leak suggests that it could be watching your sleeping. And how will you sleep? Had a sleep score in a future Apple Watch update. It could measure your sleep stages, your temperature of your body. And that may be coming to Apple Watch 11. Your sleep duration, here's a little print screen to give us the latest and the greatest on the Apple Watch. What else do we know? All right, what's this right here? So this is what comes in. There we go. Into an app into the phone. Yeah. This is all test stuff. So we'll see if this becomes. So you got these software engineers that design these programs. And then it gets put before a panel of people at Apple. And they decide if they want to put it in their app store and start promoting it. Yeah. Just paging through here to see if anything tickles your fancy. You're going to see here digital camera. Oh my goodness. I got to. That's Marilyn's iPad ringing. She was out of the office in some kind of a manager's meeting, and her iPhone. She didn't pick it up on the iPhone, so it went to the iPad, and that's what the ringing you heard. These cameras that are in the iPhones are so good that some people are ditching their digital SLRs. And I'll tell you what, the cameras that are in the iPhones are so good and so handy and easy to use that, to carry this, this big, chunky 3 or 4 pound camera, which is a beautiful, magnificent camera. I have one that's 45 million pixels, but I got 45 million pixels in the iPhone. Can you believe it? I mean, it's like, what? Yeah. Here's an image of, I'll save it, of the, the metering system. Yeah, that's like old news there. That's like 20 years ago. Yeah, I had it. Yeah. But I had a Canon camera, not this Nikon stuff. There you go. I had something. This is one of the cheaper versions of a of a Canon ASPC, which is the smaller imager. Instead of the 35 millimeter frame, it's slightly smaller, cropped. It's called a cropped imager. Now these EOS R8s and R1s and R5s, those are, when you look through the viewfinder, you're looking at a little tiny digital screen instead of looking through the lens with a prism and all that. So when you look through that, you're seeing what the imager is actually seeing directly, electronically. You don't have to go through this prism business. There's no flipping of a mirror up and down. When the mirror is down, the light goes through the lens and then gets reflected up into the pentaprism and then that way into your eye. And then mirror flips out of the way and lets the light go straight through to the film plane, whether it be an imager plane or a film. Yeah. And that's, you hear that mirror flapping every time you press the shutter button. But with a mirrorless, there's no mirror. Then when you're looking in the viewfinder, there's a little flat screen TV screen inside this dome instead of the pentaprism. There is no pentaprism. There's a little TV picture in there of the light that's going through, hitting the imager, and then an electronic signal gets put into the little TV camera, which is like your monitor, but it's a little tiny one. That 2 million pixels, and this little tiny screen that you look straight into, housed in that housing right there. Whether it be a Nikon or so this is a mirrorless camera, and that's the little TV screen is right up in there. So you're looking at a TV screen. There's no mirror down here. The lens lets the light straight through to the imager. Then a cable, a little tiny cable, feeds up into that bulge in the top of the camera, feeding a little TV monitor that's inside there. That's how that works. We've taken them apart. Yes, we have. All right, Marilyn's car is parked. It is a 59% fuel tank. So when she gets back from her trip, she'll probably plug in tonight and fill it back up. It's a 25 mile drive. So 59. She'll be at like 45% probably. Well, you can tell, because we did the navigator, and when she's 16 miles away. Yeah. So when you look at the navigator, yeah. Oops. We've already sent the trip. There's the recent trip. And you can see how, 28 miles, 20.5 miles, 28 minutes with the traffic as it is right now. This factors in traffic, by the way. And it will tell you how much energy you have in the battery, how much you should have in the battery when your fuel tank. You see it's 59%. That's the departure energy. And the energy when you get there, it will be at 51%. So you use up about 8% of your fuel capacity driving 20 miles. So let's get our trusty calculator out and see if that makes sense. So let's take 20.5 miles divided by, what was that, 8%? 0.08 equals 256 miles if it was 100%. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, that is pretty much on the nose there. That's how you calculate backwards. So if you divide it by 0.08, that'll give you what 100% would be. And that's 156 miles. 256 miles. Yeah, anyway, so we can, let's see, go back to the car. Let's do controls. And then press this button right here. And we'll see all our tire pressures around 38 pounds 4 hours ago. So I need to go in there and I have a little portable compressor down here, air pump. So I'll go down there and bring a little stool with me and go around the 4 tires and fill them up. Yep. Takes about 5 minutes a tire. You screw it on and put, take it up to 40. So you recommend on the top 42 psi. So 38. So it's time to do a little fill up. So over the weekend I'll fill them up. Yep. One last shot at the weather. Let's take this out of the picture. So there we go. We have a bigger picture. I'm gonna swap cameras. I prefer it to be over on that side. So yeah, there's a lot of lightning. Look at all the lightning. These are actual real lightning strikes. These satellites count the lightning strikes and plot them precisely on the weather map. That's part of the job of the weather satellite. Not only reads the clouds and all that, but it tells you exactly where the lightning is in the storm. And you can see it's really quite prolific over the Keys. Florida Keys are getting hammered pretty good with lightning and wind and rain. Yeah. Pretty nice. I can bring you the weather, huh? Yeah, we got something else brewing out here in the middle of it's hurricane season, so things start to boil up. So we got something cooking out there in the middle of the Gulf. Now, whether that goes into a counterclockwise rotation or not has yet to be seen. They give it about a 10 or 15% chance. So we're going to cycle out here over the Atlantic and see what's cooking out here. Do we have any cyclonic activity? I'm going out right to the Atlantic coast, the African coast. These storms originate there and then come across. So I'm looking at this crossing. A lot of rain, a lot of lightning. Nothing is rotating. Yet. And the Y-E-T. Let me get back over here where we belong. The little blue dot right above Miami. We're zoomed out pretty good. We got, several hundred miles on the screen. Let's tighten this up. Zoom in a little tighter. Zoom in a little tighter. There you go. A little lightning. Yeah. So at this zoom in low, let's add here. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna leave you as we cross the 2-hour mark. As you can see, if you can see it, can you barely see it in the camera view? Yeah. Oh gosh, just barely open this edge. Right over here in that corner. 2 hours and 4 minutes. And this clock over here shows. Ooh. There we go. 1. Oh my God, it's 1 in the afternoon. Oh, yes, son of a gun. All right, we're going out to dinner tonight, so I have to change my clothes. And, Daniel will pick me up at like 5 o'clock. We're going to the Capitol Grill to celebrate Daniel's birthday. When you get older, you don't get like presents that often, where someone can think of like a gift in a bag or something rather. So we go out to dinner. We pay for dinner, and that's a nice dinner. No one's been to the Capitol Grill except for us. So the boys will get an outing at the Capitol Grill, which will be very nice. And we wish you a good day, good lunchtime. I hope you enjoyed Coffee with Jimmy with all our visual displays here for your viewing enjoyment. If you're watching this while you're reading the newspaper or reading, your iPhone or another iPad where you're reading the current news. I've got, as the iPads get older and you get a new one, keep the old ones, They only get like $180 trade-in, so you might as well keep it. You got $1,000 invested in the iPad at least. So, no sense in giving it up for $180, assuming it's working and everything. Yeah. On that happy note, I will leave you, and tomorrow will be Thursday, so I was late today. I didn't get on until about 11. We had some things I had to deal with. Sorry about that. Tomorrow we'll be on at 9:03 a.m. Internet permitting, and I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about. And in the meantime, you have a great day, okay?